Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, highlighting some of the new features that are being worked on throughout 2021 that we found out from the latest roadmap update. The progress tracker has had a load of teams added to it, and it shows what they're working on and what we might see throughout 2021, or at least what's being worked on. And there are some major questions as well. Where is server meshing? Where is iCache? Where is Vulkan and the Gen 12 renderer and some of the other major features? So let's start with the most important and major thing for Star Citizen: persistent streaming and server meshing, as it was not on the projected release view for 2021 as of yet, but it is on the progress tracker. So why is it not in the projected release view for 2021? What's going on? And Cloud Imperium have said server meshing is an ongoing initiative that includes a variety of features and technology that will help unlock the ability to expand the content and player counts in the Star Citizen universe. Tasks associated with this deliverable span across multiple teams and disciplines, and you'll find work being done on all 4 quarters currently visible on the roadmap. While you may not see server meshing or pyro in the release view at the moment, this doesn't necessarily rule anything out. This means we are still working out our timeline and have not currently met that threshold of around 70% confidence to target a specific quarter yet. Because that's basically what Cloud Imperium have said. They will put features and those items on the release view, saying that it's probably going to be in this patch as soon as it hits around 70% confidence that they can actually meet that. And stuff may still move around for sure. There's still going to be delays and bits and bobs, but they have not ruled out it being in the Q4 2021 patch. However, I do think it's less likely. I think at best it would be 50-50, but it's probably a little bit lower than that now. But we'll have to wait and see. Well, it's either 0 or 100. It's either in it or it's not, I suppose. So the server meshing work that they're doing throughout 2021 is currently described on the roadmap progress tracker as proprietary server meshing and persistent technology that will allow Star Citizen to scale up its shared universe across the game servers. Eventually, this technology will allow thousands of players to coexist in the verse. Once the first version of this is implemented, the number of servers and players will increase over successive versions. So I'm looking forward to the MMO being an MMO for sure, but we do not know when server meshing is going to be delivered. The other major connected feature with this, and something that I was expecting very soon, but it's a little bit more vague now, is iCache, and that got a bit more complex with Cloud Imperium saying, some of you may have noticed that iCache is not present as a standalone deliverable on the roadmap. It's still there, but it's gotten a name change. This is because iCache and other similar technologies are now wrapped up within the persistent streaming and server meshing deliverable mentioned above, the one we just mentioned. In addition, we have removed the convert legacy data management to iCache from the release view, as there are pending dependencies involved in that work for this. Basically, this means the fruits of these efforts won't be seen until later on in the year, but we should still see some iCache improvements, or the improvements that we were expecting from iCache later this year. That's what it sounds like to me, but the actual full iCache feature has been subsumed into the greater persistent streaming and server meshing sort of feature. We sort of expected that anyway. I mean, iCache is working towards server meshing, and it doesn't really matter if they change its name and say, well, it's actually the same thing, as long as they are releasing it in step like it appears to be. It's not sort of like, well, iCache isn't coming at all, none of its improvements until we have server meshing now, and that's not the case. It sounds like they are still stepping it. It's just obviously a lot of work goes into iCache is going to be directly used for server meshing, and assuming I've understood that correctly, that makes sense to me. But obviously, if it's iCache is super delayed and server meshing is super delayed and we don't know when they're going to land, that would be a little disappointing. But tell me what you think that sort of means. That's those statements from Cloud Imperium. What are they trying to get at there? Some other new features I want to talk about that have appeared on the progress tracker are the Gen 12 renderer. That's projected to have some of its work finished in Q1, Q2 of this year. This will replace the current DirectX 11 renderer with a new rendering system, Vulkan, and this will also offload a lot of work to the GPU more sensibly, and it should make the game a lot more scalable, and I would expect a good bit more performance from that. I am really looking forward to that Gen 12 renderer update. That's super important to getting the game looking great and performing great. There's work on a load of engine and other back-end systems, the entity component update scheduler, responsible for maintaining all component updates and events. There's a load of improvements to that. Basically, there's just a huge amount of optimization going into the first 2 quarters of 2021. One of the other things to note is that some of the teams are only showing 2 quarters forward on the roadmap progress tracker. So We'll get more and more updates to the roadmap every couple of weeks, but some of the teams, what they're going to be working on beyond a couple of quarters is obscured at the moment because potentially they don't know either. There is work on better planetary LODs, levels of detail, and popping in of assets. I expect to see lots of planetary improvements this year. I mean, we know they're working on rivers, but I didn't see rivers explicitly mentioned here, although it could very well be part of just another initiative. There's updates to get massive asteroid fields in the game and tools for that. Object placement on planets will be affected by weather and the environment and things like that. There's work throughout 2021 on ship CPU or computer blades, implementing these AI blades for various uses and functionalities on ships, and we should see load more updates and information on that in the future, but it's going to be allowing you to have turrets automatically controlled by AI effectively, or allowing different abilities and automatic features of your ships to open up. So maybe it will auto fire sort of countermeasures, or maybe you'll get access to scan people down quicker or target multiple people at once and fire more missiles, things like that. Multi-grid sign distance field tech's being worked on, and lots of other cool tech in the feature that I've given there. An example of that would be allowing capital ships to sort of break into two and break into multiple parts and still be semi-functional, or at least be able to have the power systems working with them, but just being able to break into for the salvage and for cool scenics is pretty awesome. Jump points, we know they've been building these out. They're gonna have some functionality. They need to do the internal tunnels and have all that work sort of done. It'd be cool if they can get that done for the end of the year, for Pyro, for server meshing. We'll have to wait and see. Physical damage and breakability, making use of the physics engine to create a system that looks and behaves realistically when large objects such as ships are damaged by weaponry or colliding with other ships, locations, or planets. And we did actually see that Cloud Imperium are able to deform terrain on planets as well now, so maybe those two together could have ships crashing on planets and things like that as well. But that's obviously the physical damage system, along with visual components for that are really important for the game. There's work on large vehicle water buoyancy for those that want to use the 890 jump as an actual yacht, for example, and general water gameplay. I covered the updates in the release view in another video, but I'll also do a quick highlight of some of them here because people will be like, what cool other features are there? Well, there's a surprise tonk and NPC spawn closets, which are good news for 3.13's patch. Spawn closets will allow NPCs to spawn on the ground as reinforcements, as security forces, that sort of stuff, and make missions much more important and interesting, but will also allow them to go, well, actually, we're going to remove armistice zones for FPS gear in these areas, so you can shoot freely. Pew, pew, pew. Also got the Hercules C2 and M2, and what is believed to be ship name customization in some form for the Q2 patch 3.14. That's pegged to have a lot of cool important features. Orison and Crusader, expanded hacking with a minigame, the start of medical gameplay. That's going to be pretty important, getting players up, having them knocked down, be able to third-party heal, as well as sign distance field shields. That's going to look great. The start of ship modularity, at least with the Retaliator, get Retaliator and the Reclaimer and the Redeemer all confused in my head. There's the start of physical inventory here as well, although not all of it, and the long-awaited Constellation variant, the Taurus, is pegged for here as well. Now, I say pegged for here and all this sort of stuff, we do know that some of the stuff could move around. Around 70% confidence for all the features I'm sort of talking about when I talk about a specific patch. 3.15, the Q3 patch, is the most exciting for me. It sees the Redeemer gunship and the Hercules A2 bomber variant, as well as bomb and mine gameplay. That all sounds extremely cool, as I was not expecting the ability to drop mines for quite some time. Not sure how we're going to get that ability without the Nautilus. Are we just chucking them out of our cargo bay or something like that? Or is there going to be a module that we can put on certain ships? The Ares, Ion and Inferno seem to be in this patch too. It's actually quite ship heavy, that patch, thinking about it. That might be offset somewhat by the first implementation of salvage if it makes it here. However, it doesn't really state what that first implementation of salvage is, though I'm expecting it's a simple removal of components from ships and being able to sell them. There's a load of cool little features in 3.16, and I suspect that we'll get a lot more information exactly what's going to be in 3.16 or the Q4 patch later in the year, because it's quite far out at the moment. They don't know exactly what's going to be in there. There was some cool little bits. They've got like shield emitters as physicalized components that can be destroyed. Obviously that's really important, so you can permanently disable certain ship shields, especially when you're attacking capital ships. Really important. having physicalized lockers and shelves and being able to put items on different areas, really will expand out how the physical inventory system works, and looting and all that sort of jazz. Really, really important. And actually something that is really important is that ships will sort of align when they land with like the cargo elevators and stuff, and elevators that come down, so that you hopefully have less janky experiences. So yeah, I am a little bit confused where physicalized components exactly is on, or precisely is on the roadmap at the moment. It could be part of another larger feature, or it's just not on the roadmap properly for some reason. I know they're working on it, and I know it's a relatively high priority, if not extremely high priority, because it's needed for Squadron 42, it's needed for a huge amount of stuff along with the power and resource system. So yeah, that stuff's all being worked on as far as I'm aware. It's just not being actively discussed exactly where it's going to be falling. I'll poke Cloud Imperium for more info on that. I mean, they are clearly physicalizing some components with modularity and things like shield emitters and working on salvage, etc. So it does all make sense. Some other stuff that I know they're working on that's not on the roadmap as well. They are working on some other ships that have not been yet properly revealed. And there's things like the new dynamic events and other large-scale missions and other missions in general that are just not on the roadmap. Now, that's because the roadmap and the progress track and all that sort of stuff are not exhaustive, especially at this stage. There's more that they're going to be adding in the future, and we'll cover that as it happens. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think we could see pyro and server meshing by the end of the year? Or is that incredibly unrealistic now, and Star Citizen's always going to be doomed to delays? Well, I suppose both can be true. It could have server meshing and pyro by the end of the year and be doomed to delays, or maybe just be a bit delayed. Are we going to have to wait until 2022 is what I'm saying. I mean, it's extremely possible now, isn't it? What are you most looking forward to this year feature-wise? What do you hope makes it in? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For January 2021, we're giving away 5 different ships to 5 different randomly chosen winners. We're giving away a 100i, a 125a, a 135c, as well as a couple of birdie boys, the Talon and the Shrike variant. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is comment on any of my videos made during January. That's it, although I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed. I also shill for NordVPN. They protect your datas and your informations from people that are trying to data intercept it with a Herald or Mercury Star Runner. You see how I built that into Star Citizen based lore? As in, animate a little radar dish or a Mercury Star Runner stealing someone's data, and then NordVPN somehow blocking that. But if you are looking for a VPN, NordVPN is a very affordable VPN that can get you better access to the internet, help keep you secure and protected, and help you maintain your privacy. Links down below for a discount on Nord. Also, if you wish to further support the channel, there's Patreon, there's a join button below my videos. The extra money that we get from that helps support the channel massively. Thank you so much to those VIPs that go the extra mile to do that. I also like people quite a lot that share, like, and subscribe and comment on my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.